Good afternoon. This is Gina. I'm a practitioner out of Concordia Centers for Spiritual Living in snowy Rhode Island today. And I am here as a licensed life coach and part of our prayer team here at this beautiful network. For the joy is in the journey. Joy is what I believe we're here for. We are here to be and enjoy this beautiful thing called life. And the joy is in the journey is our way to get there. It's consciously cultivating a life that we choose, a life that we enjoy. It's always available, but we're not always recognizing it. So every week we are going to go through different topics that are going to help us cultivate more joy in our life. Today, I am blessed to have a wonderful guest who is here for this topic of transform your body mindset. How many of us have gone through so much of life with a negative body image or that negative self-talk? Or that stuff that we sit there and say, well, when I get to this point, or when I lose weight, or when I feel better, when the truth is, it's the other way around. So we're going to transform our mindset so feel that joy. Now, Lisa Medley has over 20 years experience in the healing arts with a master's in expressive therapy, life and wellness coaching, therapeutic massage, bodywork, energy medicine, conscious movement, and dance. She considers herself to be extremely sensitive, which is a blessing. It gives her that divine connection, which is wonderful, but it challenges her to stay centered in an overwhelming world. Don't we know what that's like? She's discovered that honoring body wisdom is the key to sustaining her well-being and soul evolution with more ease and grace. So being present in the presence. Also, Lisa Medley is an amazing woman and mom and wife and everything that goes with it, and knows that there's a whole life that goes along with it. And she honors herself so that others will also honor her. And as a friend, I am so in awe of that. So I am going to bring in Lisa, and I am so grateful that she is here today.
Thanks,
Welcome,
Gina.
Lisa.
Thank you.
It is a blessing to have you as a friend, someone that I consider that I can go to when I am spent, and help me to get back to that point of joy. So I am so grateful that you're here. I think this topic is phenomenal. I think it's so important because it's part of honoring ourselves. Because if we don't, how can we find that joy?
Yes, yes. And I love this show. I love this growing network. And positively inspiring is what we need of, and to stay awake, right, to the truth, to what you're speaking to of the joy is like the point. Not that
It
there's
truly is. It's not.
It's just how to cultivate that along the journey of our life.
It's not the destination. It is how we get there every step of the way.
Yes, to the best of our ability as part human also, which is what I love to talk about, and really how to integrate, right? It's about integration. It's not like one or the other. And which is, what we're going to explore today is just transforming our body and mindset. So it's not just complete bypassing, or it's just a really stressful, exhausting place to be, because joy is the point.
And we get so caught up sometimes in the external, all the things to do. Life is busy. It absolutely amazes me that I cannot leave my house yet be completely overwhelmed. There's a million different things that need to. I'm on 4 or 5 Zoom calls in a day, and I'm thinking, what is this? There's seminars. There's everything. It's Vista, which is wonderful. We're in the middle of the CSL convention online, and being at home, you still try to fit everything in. But the body knows the difference.
Yes, yes. One of the amazing systems that I want to, just point to, just as it's top of body mind, is our nervous system. And we have multiple systems of the body. We have over 600 muscles, over 200 joints, connective tissue. I'm like a body geek. I'm just a self-proclaimed body geek. I think it's amazing. And part of that is what has helped me become more grounded and more centered, and to check in with myself and just to balance out the externally referenced world, which obviously we're here to do stuff too, right? We're here to share our gifts, to shine our light, to make the world a better place, starting with ourselves. And we're also here to tune in and see where we're at and what do we need. And our nervous system is a real physiological system. It's built into us, and it helps to calibrate. It can help us calibrate between, are we too outer? Are we too inner? And it's not, I actually don't believe in balance. I believe in balancing, because that's really more realistic and physiologically attainable, is just to experience a balancing. And it's not
Well,
perfect. And sometimes we're more here than there. It's just coming back, and that part of our body that is our communication system, our nervous system, can keep us in check of, like, how much do I have available to give today or in this moment.
and I think it's wonderful that you know yourself that well. I think it's amazing that we can learn to do this, and I just want to I want to give a shout out to the people that are watching us right now. Hello to Ursula. Great to see you here. We appreciate that you're here. And any questions you may have as we go through, to all that are watching, welcome. And we'd love any questions you have on even the mind body connection. We know our teaching is thoughts or things. And that's the basics of everything. And what we think about is what we bring about. So when we don't acknowledge our body, as we've discussed many times how I have gone unconscious to what my body needs for so many years. And now I am very conscious of it, because, unfortunately for me, it took me getting, having cancer, the experience of cancer, to stop, to learn how to know when enough was enough. And after the 2 surgeries and going through all that I did, realizing that there was a breaking point, and that breaking point was my body. And realizing that the world spun when I wasn't spinning it. There's so much that we think we have to do. It doesn't seem like anything is optional. But the truth is, everything is optional. And, you found some wonderful ways to make it easy, because I know I'm one of those people that the word exercise can feel like a 4-letter word, for a variety of reasons. Some people love it, and it's others it's work. So the way that you have incorporated just movement makes me happy to watch, happy to partake in, and it's inviting. That's one of those things that I would love for you to talk to people about, how you keep it fun. And, without it, we're supposed to start where we are.
Absolutely. I don't use the word exercise, or if I ever do in my work, I put air quotes around it, because it can be very limiting. It can be a very limiting and harsh and 4-letter word. So the other 4-letter word is move, right? I mean, you just said that, move. It's all moving. And, part about transforming the body mindset is remembering what our body really is and how it really works, and that we're part of the natural world. Our body is a living process. It's not a machine. It's not an object. It's not something to be disregarded and disrespected and shamed. And those experiences exist for sure. All of that, what I just said. And it's a learned behavior. It's programming, and it's ancient stuff. And every time I tap into what I'm speaking here, I have chills all over my body, because that's part of the wisdom that's saying, yep, you're speaking truth. And that the programming is so deep, it's so ancient. I mean, pick any self-limiting belief around money, around scarcity, around energy, around time. It's all the same stuff. It's all wrapped up into that same stuff that we have just not been honored, and we haven't been taught of how to tune into this, how to learn this language of which our body is expressing. We don't go to a class in school of like body wisdom 101. We don't learn about sensation.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Well, that's
Body
what I'm here
wisdom.
to do.
And that's perfect. And in New Thought, we do have things like that. We, in our centers, we have workshops. We have all kinds of, I know you have plenty, that you offer. I love your beloved, the body. I love just that word. We are meant to honor ourselves. And when we honor ourselves, we're teaching our children, we're teaching the women and the men in our lives how to do that. We are that example. And it's so important to be aware of it, that self-care is not selfish. It's a priority. And when we don't, something else is going to suffer. When we get enough sleep, we feel better. We're able to do more. It's a simple thing, but until we take a step back, or someone like you comes along and explains it in that common language, it goes over our head sometimes.
Yeah. And to tie in two things that you said earlier. One, like, we're so used to being so outward, and like around like exercise and movement and starting where we are, is really seeing our body as a natural living process. I mean, that's part of the mindset shift. And I mean, these are like the things that I'm saying are perspective shifts, and we can understand it intellectually. And then we have to have experiences, right? We have to practice experiences, starting where we are, meeting where we're at, with compassion, without judgment, just keep turning that away, and just, seeing ourselves as a flower, as a tree, as something in nature. Well, if you want a flower to grow, you water it, you tend to it, you nurture it. And
Yes.
It's really the same thing. And how our body is designed, drawing from my decades now of massage therapy and learning about what the body is made of and how it works. That, that's a core piece of what I teach, is bridging that gap, so we can understand, oh, well, if I have over 600 muscles and over 200 joints and bones, and I'm basically a walking ocean. Well, if I don't want to stagnate and get all like, if just picture like a stagnant pond that hasn't moved in a while, like that's kind of what happens. Like that's our design.
And we
So
are made up of all water.
We're
like
all
how much
water.
So if we're not moving, if it's not flowing the way that it needs to, we're going to experience something that we're not wanting. So it's so important to really be in that place of, mindfulness. One of the practices that I put in, I have affirmations, daily affirmations, that I acknowledge myself and look in my own eyes and tell the truth of me lovingly. I am that embodiment of divine, perfect, whole, and complete. And in order to embody that, I have to acknowledge that. And one of the ways that I honor my body is every time I put lotion on in the morning, especially as it's winter, we all know, but every time I put lotion on, I say thank you to my body. I say thank you for nourishing me, even when I didn't nourish and care for you. My body healed even when I wasn't treating it well. My body took care of me, regardless of the food that I fed, that I was eating, that I didn't take the time for, or whatever. No matter what, my body was honoring me, and I want to honor it. And the more I do that, the easier it gets.
Absolutely. That's the relationship, right? That's healing the relationship. And you referenced earlier, Beloved Your Body is one of my core programs. And that's basically is just how to be in a relationship with your body, how to heal that relationship. And it's just like, it's really a lot of transferable skills. Just think of a relationship that you have in your life that works, that like most of the time is like a uplifting, positive, rejuvenating, reciprocal, relationship. And it's really just taking some of those things you already know how to do and just applying it to your body, tuning up some learning, like the language of the body, like learning some things that maybe you don't know as much about how the body works because we haven't been taught. You got to let yourself off the hook continually, and that just pull those pieces together of how am I feeling and what do I need? I mean, that's basically the bottom line of what I teach people how to do, is just start to tune in and tune up that inner volume with compassion and deep respect, and healing along the way, because we're not only healing our current disconnect, we're healing hundreds and really thousands of years of this ancient disconnect. Like it's, if we just look at how we've been treating the planet, we're clearly getting a lot of indication that like some things have to shift about that. This is our planet, and we've gotten the same messages about, toxifying our planet, or just not caring about the waters and not caring about the animals and not caring about the environment and the atmosphere. And, the earth is going, hello, and our body does the same thing, but we do not have to wait until we are knocked over by a 2x4 or a 4x8 to listen. We just need some skills and some tools and compassionate support to bring that wisdom in, bring that connection in.
And there's so many loving ways to do that. And there's it's you often offer different types of things to your clients, but also in general, you'll put it out there on Facebook, all the, just to get together, a movement hour, where people can just do whatever they want. And I love, and I had never heard of movement choir. We actually have at our center a movement choir. And at first I'm like, what? I was expecting dance specifically in what does that mean? But it's amazing, and it was so well received. Please tell people about that.
Sure. So movement choir is not an original idea. I don't remember where I first came across it, but when I looked it up, it has some ancient connections. And in this context, and what I've shared at Concordia, and I love sharing in many, many places, is really, again, seeing your body as this natural living process that breathes, that moves, like we're designed to move in space. It can happen on a treadmill. It can happen in a forest. It can happen on a mat. Like there's so many ways that we can move our body and really honor the design. Like that's what it needs to keep energy circulating, to not be a stagnant pond, right? And when it comes to a movement choir, I really love to make that connection with just, everyday people, not trained dancers. Again, I'm using quotes around that. It's not a dance troupe. It's not a dance performance either. It's just expressing your body through movement. And with enough, like some of the things that I've done at Concordia that you've seen, Gina, is having a song, something positive, something inspiring, and, a group of people who are willing to be brave and move their body in space with some structure, just a little structure. So we are all doing the same thing at the same time in our own way. And then always building in a piece within a song, within that movement piece, for spirit to just come through you and your body just moves. And like you are not moving your body, like your agenda, your ego, your sensor, your self-consciousness just gets out of the way.
Just going with
energy,
the flow.
going with the flow. And that's really my origins of dancing like no one's watching since as young as I can remember, just because it felt good. Just because I felt good. I mean, I did some training along the way, but
it's a freedom. It's like
oh,
letting down your hair kind of a feeling. For those that don't have long hair, it's just a freedom it's relaxing. It's just comfortable. And it's so much fun to watch. And it's so welcoming. It's a new way of expression that I had never seen, but I absolutely love. Now, you consider yourself to be a divine embodiment mentor. Now, before you go into that, I do want to just want to let people know that we are here, and our topic, this is The Joy is in the Journey, and today's topic is transform your body mindset. And Lisa Medley is here today to talk about how she does that, how she can help her clients get to that place of loving our bodies, using them in a healthy way, appreciating them, and honoring ourselves so that we can find more joy in our journey. And if you have any questions at all, please, any comments, any questions, we would love to hear from you. So Lisa, tell me about being a divine embodiment mentor. Where did even the title come from?
yes, it's a mouthful, right? Well, we all know what divine means. I mean, in this context, and just, so we're on the same page, it's whatever that is for you, whatever that connection is, God, goddess, source, universe, oneness, right? It's that connection when we're part of something greater than us and we are part of that at the same time, right? I mean, in this new thought channel, that's a lot of what that we have that foundation, right? And so whatever that is for you, and if it's not the word divine, insert whatever you want it to be. And the embodiment piece is, embodiment means just being more connected, to, with, as your body, just getting out of your head and tapping into all of this other intelligence. We have 50 trillion cells. We're made of 50 trillion cells, and every cell is intelligent. Every cell knows what to do and has a purpose and has a mission, has a vision for you to be well and a mission to support that. And it's optimal when we partner, when we collaborate with what's happening here. And, that's part of where I'm filling in that gap, because it's a huge disconnect. It's a chasm, really, in our stressed out, reactive culture. We've been living and breathing that air for so long. We don't even know sometimes that it's a possibility to actually experience our natural state of ease and grace more often than not. We got to practice it, got to get support.
Some of us don't even know what that even means. Like, how do you, I have the peace circle on Monday nights. And the reason that I have a peace circle is because I never knew growing up what peace was. I always thought of quiet, but I had no concept of how to get to a peaceful state of mind. And that's great that you say, well, go within. Who knew what that meant? I wasn't raised in a religion that spoke as that. I wasn't raised by people that spoke like that. So when you say honor your body, there's a lot of people are being connected to what you need. There's a lot of people that don't even know what that language is. It's literally being present. There are times that I have just run and then I finally stop and I realize, okay, I did too much. But it shouldn't be that my body is hurting. I could listen along the way.
Yes. Listen along the way, and how to, like, what are you even listening for, right? Like, so some of my skills that I'm teaching are really like learning a language, imagine going into a foreign language class, and the first time you go in, the teacher is going, guys, like you don't know what it is. And then over time, you start to tune in. So a specific example, concrete example, is, what is your breath right now? Are you, well, of course you're breathing to some extent, otherwise you wouldn't be conscious. Are you breathing shallowly? Is it fast? Is it up here? Is it wide? Is it deep? Is it slow? It's just a reference point. There's no bad or good because we have different times when we're breathing in different ways. Another concrete body awareness is just muscle tension. Like, so even just I'm standing here, because I'm kind of on, right? Like I'm on, I can feel my legs are a little tighter than they really need to be. So I'm just going to feel my feet on the ground, and actually I can relax like the lower half of my body because the earth is holding me up and I'm good. And it was just like little tweaks and shifts. And I've been practicing this for a long time, and I'm wired to be, I'm hyper aware, as you read earlier in my bio, I'm energy sensitive, which like I can't not be uncomfortable in my own skin for very long. Like I can't tolerate my existence. It's so uncomfortable. So I've been teaching what I want to learn. Again, I went to massage school over 25 years ago. And part of that was my healing process of, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And this is working for me. And it's learning how to tune in. And to your point, and I really want to give some voice to this, is like, going within, tuning in. Part of learning about the intellectual perspective of, oh, there's another way to experience my body, look at my body, and then the experience of it is that if we are so used to living white knuckled or tight, or our breath is shallow or our muscles are tense, and we're in the stress response all the time, of which our culture values. Hence, we have this weirdness about, selfish, or guilty pleasures, or being lazy when we're actually just exhausted. It's so warped out there because of that disconnect.
Yes.
And that our body, just to circle it back around to when I was talking about the nervous system at the very beginning, that's one of our systems of our body. It's our interface that lets us know, is there a tiger that I need to fight or flee right now? Like, no? Oh, okay. And then we have a system in our body that calms everything down. It exists. It's a reality that exists.
Be still and know.
Be still,
I love
and
that
know.
because it
Yes.
really is. In that moment, we can do that check-in, taking a breath and just being mindful of where I am, how I am, and take that moment so that we're not going faster and faster in the wrong direction. And that's because it's one of the things that, being busy, like you said, in our society, unfortunately, it's like it's a badge of honor, but it's really not. And the answer is to be present. We are creators, but are we creating consciously? Now, if we're not in touch with and in tune with how we're feeling physically, we are perpetuating dis-ease in our physical body. And our society doesn't pay attention to that dis-ease until we stop, until literally it stops us sometimes. So it's about witnessing. That's the thing too, not placing judgment on anything. It's simply witnessing, where am I right now? How am I feeling? What do I need? Because we do it for others. And that's one of the things that we always, when we see a friend and they look stressed out, we stop them. What are you doing? How are you feeling? You need to take care of yourself. We say it all the time. We do it for our friends. We do it for, how can I help? We do all of these things, but are we doing it for ourselves?
Exactly. And, that's part of what, this transforming the body mindset is about, from disconnected to divine, honoring that, we have been taught how to disconnect. And, again, it's like, it's the matrix. It's tolerated. The amount of chronic stress that's tolerated is ridiculous. Like, and that's just putting it the most mild word that I can say. And That's not our nature. It's not our nature. And, the piece about, be still and know, going within the presence from a from our human self, from our nervous system, from our physiology, we got to practice that. We got to practice that in our thoughts and our intention, and that
Exactly.
there actually
Consciously.
is a place to know. And we also have to tell our body and our physiology and our nervous system that it's okay. It's okay to loosen the grip. It's okay to look around and scan the horizon and actually give that part of our nervous system that's like, oh, no, 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 I got to keep going, a cue, a present cue, like, no, actually, I am safe. I am safe. And it's a body mind. So, you mentioned earlier, like that body mind connection, both needs to happen. And because our physiology runs by patterns, and, we all know, the patterns and whatever we grew up with, whatever those cues were when we were growing up, and we established patterns for survival, like we had to just take in what was around us because our life depended on it, like really. So that, rewiring and retraining and paradigm shifting, it has to be a holistic process. And, we can have all the intentions in the world, and until we are also tuning in and becoming aware and practicing in supportive spaces to breathe deeply, to relax our muscles, to shift our physiology, it's that's the sustainable combination, when we can use all of us, our body, our thoughts, our emotions, our spirit, our soul, when they're all working together, because that's who we are. We are multidimensional.
Yes. And it's remembering that and putting that into, the word that I love is routine. It's getting into a healthy routine that works for each individual person. And it's realizing that you don't have to do the things that you don't like. It's finding what you do and honoring yourself and enjoying it, whether it's going for a walk with a friend, or it's, chair yoga, or it's, I was speaking to someone, I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, and they were saying that when they do yoga, often they're in tears. And I said, that's because there's so much tension pent up in the body that when you hit certain poses, you've released it. It's often happens with massage as well. There's a lot of people that don't realize that there's years worth of tension, and someone can touch a spot and you're in tears on the table because it's been wedged there for so long. Can
Yes.
you talk a little bit about carrying that tension?
Yes, yes, so important to speak to. The this is where the the be still and know, the being present, um, bringing space into our heart to be compassionate and meet us where we are. So we all have wounds, right? We all have stuck energy in our body. Just to break it down into that simple terms, emotions, emotion, energy in motion. That's what emotions are designed. We're designed to feel joy and grief and anger, and like that's part of our human self, our animal self. And that if we don't have an opportunity for that emotion to move through because we don't feel safe, then we're going to stuff it. And that's a survival mechanism also. And obviously when we get older, when we're more capable, when we're not that young child of, we all have stuff, right? That when we can start to see that is, one concept I'll bring in right now, concrete, is something called dual awareness. So, and this is another way of seeing, like, I'm all like body, 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 because it needs to be valued again and understood again and respected again. And our body is an expression of who we be. It doesn't define us. It's not who we really are. It's our vehicle, and we need to work with it. We need to cultivate a relationship with it, because everything's easier when we do. And it doesn't define us. So our emotions don't define us. Our stuck stress doesn't define us. And it needs tender, loving care and spaces to move. And maybe I just gave this to a client the other day, a home play. I like to call them home plays instead of homework. Home play of getting a ruler and drawing a line, and then drawing in all of the centimeters on that length of the ruler, to just show and remind of incremental. We have to meet us where we are, to what you said earlier. And if we're here on the ruler, we like, what is the next centimeter that allows energy to move, allows like crying, or releasing stuck stress, emotion. It doesn't have to be all big and cathartic. There's a place for that, and sometimes it can send us backwards. So we got to work with ourselves, and keep that sense of safety is really, really important.
Like you said, it's a balancing act. Life is in movement. There's not a still point. It's not a matter of having to do it all now. Sometimes just watching a fun movie that makes you move around and laugh a lot, because just laughing is loving our body. It's putting positive energy into our body. So it's literally caring for ourselves in that way as well. It's taking the time. Also, it's how we take care of ourselves and nurture ourselves. So if we're somebody that doesn't buy ourselves anything, I have plenty of clothes, I don't need something new, I want to lose weight before I get there. I've heard plenty of people that felt uncomfortable in what they were wearing. And, I understand that feeling all too well. But the truth is we're not honoring ourselves if we're not giving ourselves what it needs. So whatever that may be, whether that be, cutting and dyeing your hair, or whether it be, the clothes that you wear, putting makeup on, we're a lot of us are at home most of the time. A lot of people are working from home, and we're not taking that time to honor ourselves. And our body notices the difference. It's really being in that place of mindfulness, of choice to take care of ourselves. Not because somebody else is going to see it, as much as for ourselves as well. Often in a relationship, we may want to hopefully care about what we look like, but we want to care for ourselves as well. It's not just about them or anyone else. It's for us. Because when we look better, we feel better. And it's important to put that effort in for us as much as anybody else, if not more important, because it shows what we think of ourselves. If I show up and I'm a mess, what do I think of myself? How do I feel about myself?
And it's just occurred to me that the opposite is also true, that when we feel better, we look better. So we can come at it from both places, and
Yes.
there's no right or wrong, right? Because it's the same. And the sustainable and like paradigm shifting that that I'm passionate about is tuning up that inner volume and experiencing our body in a calm way. Like going within, where to go, and you're not stressed out. When I teach people like how to really relax, sometimes I don't even use the word relax, because there's so much like, I can't relax, I don't have time to relax, there's all this. So I'm using the word restore. I'm seeing if I can like get that in there, of just how to calm down, and like that you can actually do that you even have a place to do that. And again, I'm just going to be a little broken record about it, you got to practice it. It's a practice.
Well, it's a spiritual practice, without a
It is
doubt.
a spiritual
It's,
practice.
we understand, we have affirmative prayer, we have meditation, we have mindfulness. This is being present in our physical body. And we know that spirit in us, as us, is us. So as we care for this vessel, we are caring for divine. We are carrying that spark of divine. We are honoring the Christ in us as we honor that of other people. When we see someone else, we're doing the same thing. And it's that Christ within them that we want to honor. When we say namaste, we're honoring that self. But that self is in this vessel. And if I'm not taking care of it, then I am limiting myself in so many ways. And it's another one of those things that I want to be mindful to say, it's not about, it is so not about being, shitting all over ourselves. It's not another thing we should have done. You can't know what you weren't taught. It is so important that, we really are in that place of mindfulness, that awareness of what we deserve. Because if we're not good to us, we're giving other people license to do the same. If I speak poorly about myself, what is anyone else going to do? There's a lot of people that aren't in healthy relationships and they wonder why. If I don't honor myself, then how am I, then what am I settling for? And it kind of ripples in a lot of other aspects of life sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. And, frankly, the modeling that we have about taking care of our self, with a capital S, and within this physical container, they're not very good models. Like we have very, very disempowering models, and that we need new ones. We need new models. And this piece about, your body is speaking. Are you listening? Your body wisdom is right there. Our gut instinct, our, I feel it in my gut, or I have an impulse, or all of that. One thing I want to say is that what I teach and what this conversation is about, it's lifting the veil, it's revealing what is already so. It's not, definitely not shoulding. It's not even putting something else you need to do. It's learning how to be. It's like remembering how to be. When we were babies, whether we remembered or not, or if you can just picture and, a young infant or just a kid, they're all instinct. They know exactly what they're feeling, what's going on. They want this, they want that toy now, and if they don't get it, they're going to be angry about it because they want it. Of course they do. That's just a small example. When they're hungry, they eat. When they're tired, they lie down. When they need to use the bathroom, they use the bathroom. Like all of that.
And how often do adults, we put everything in this time slot, or if I can get to it. And, it is important that we are in that mindset of just awareness. It's just being aware of, how am I? What's going on with me? And even when we look at a day that has too much on that calendar, being mindful of what needs to be done and what can I delegate? What can I ask for help? What can I let go of? It's amazing when we think about this is, when we're not feeling well, that can it stops everything. So isn't it smarter to take the time to put that investment in? If we need an oil change and that oil light comes on in the car, it's no different. This is our vessel. This is how we get around. If the tire is flat, you change it. Well, when we're feeling flat, we need to honor how we're feeling as well as what we eat. What do we put into our body? Is it natural? Is it fast food? Is it, because the junk food is cheaper and easier, and we're a society, unfortunately, that is all about let's bigger, better, faster, more. So you get that super size, and that's the worst thing. And it's like there's that reward mentality in something that's not good. And that's something lifelong that I have worked on, is being mindful of, I am worth the effort of preparing a meal. I am worth the effort of knowing what is defrosted, what is going to be dinner, when I need to put it together. So it's really being in, in the loop of, and if these are new habits, it just takes time to become a routine. But it's looking at it in every way, from, how we dress and how we wake ourselves up in the morning. Did we get enough sleep? How are we nurturing this beautiful vessel that we only get one of?
Yes, we only get one of, and it's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, just think of when you get like a little cut on your finger, and the next day it's different. I mean, depending on the intensity of it, it may be healed all the way, it may be healing, but that intelligence is in our 50 trillion cells. And not only, I mean, we've been talking about the physical body. One image that I like to use is of a slinky. So another perspective shift of what our body really is energy. So if you imagine a slinky, so just imagine I'm holding a slinky, and I start to expand the slinky. And then I expand it into the walls of the room. And then I expand it beyond the walls of the room into the sky. And then I expand it all the way up into the cosmos, as like to infinity. Let's just imagine I could just pick a spot in infinity and start to compress this energy, and compress it and compress it, and just keep compressing it and keep compressing it, and make a human form. That's what we are. That's the truth of who we are. I mean, we speak that, and this is just another way to, like, we're just compressed energy. I mean, it looks solid. And just from the Industrial Revolution, which was a couple hundred years ago, and this programming of disconnect happened even way before that. But this concept of like produce, like judging ourselves by how much we got done in a day. All of this external, like, I got to keep going. I'll sleep when I'm dead. I'll be the first to arrive. I'll be the last to leave. America runs on, like there's all of this messaging all the time with food, with, oh, it's easier, faster. Well, it's all just advertising that we've just been ingesting for hundreds of years and thousands of years. But we're energy. We're a natural living process that's energetic, that's vibrational. And that everything that we do to care for this vessel is a spiritual practice. Like, we can bring that shift in. The food that we put into our body can be a blessing. The sleep, imagine sleep.
And it's important to bless it. It's important to bless it. I mean, this is what nourishes and cares for us, that this beautiful, planet that we've been given has given to us. It's so, years ago, our ancestors honored everything. And we've been distracted by screens, distracted by people, distracted by, so-called power, or influence, or getting ahead, or whatever it may be in our society, when the truth is, mindfulness used to be the way of life, not a practice. Now we consciously bring in mindfulness, which is just paying attention to who and where we are, and it's so important. And it's something that I know that we could talk, and I'm definitely will come back and bring it back again, because it's such an important topic. But I have your email going across the bottom. Do you want to just let us know about that?
Yes, sure. Well, it's my website. My email is lisa@soulisticarts.com. So SOULISTICARTS.com. It's a made up word. And the /free gift is a place that you can go, and I have a video, Reclaim Your Body as Divine, 5 ways. It's half an hour. You can just fast forward to anything you want. I talk about the slinky at the beginning. And then I just give some really simple practices to start, because we can talk here all day long, And until you actually have an experience of your body as energy, you probably already do. It's just bringing in some really simple things of just how to actually sense it. So to become aware, I actually like to use body mindful. I use that word because we got to throw that in as much as possible to bring this connection together. But just to become aware of tuning in to that you are made of energy, and this energy is coursing through you, and sensations are talking to you all at the same time. When we have a thought, we also have an emotion, and it may be just a blip on the screen, or it might be something that has more, weight to it. We also have a sensation in our body. They're all happening at the same time. So the next time that you have a thought that is not to your liking, that is displeasing, that you want to shift, tune into what are you experiencing in your body, and maybe even where is that tension, because it's all connected. So you can use our thoughts as a guiding post, and our body is also a compass and is supporting that alignment or misalignment. So there's lots of different ways in. Anyway, you can go to that website and
absolutely, it's not just a luxury. It's so important. And it's so important that we teach this to our children. It's important that we teach this and we exemplify this to our best friends, because often we'll treat others better than we treat ourselves. We'll be the caretakers as opposed to caretaking for this vessel that we have. We have to take care of us first. We always talk about putting on the oxygen mask on a plane, because otherwise no one's going to make it. You have to put your oxygen mask on first. And self-care is that oxygen mask. It's being mindful and present and honoring it, right here, right now, in this moment, not when I get to it. It's just going for annual checkups. It's taking care of ourselves. It's being present to how I'm feeling. And it's so important. And I just wanted to, in case anybody has a question before we go, I just wanted to let you know this is our last chance to ask anything of Lisa while she's here. And I wanted to mention that Gina at believeinouttoday.com, that's how you can get a hold of me. So if there's, again, it's Gina at believeinouttoday.com. I would love to hear new ideas. What is it that you would like to see? What topics bring you joy? What would you like to talk about here on The Joy is in the Journey? And, I so grateful to have this here, to have this discussion, and if you can, leave us with some thoughts. What would you suggest would be the starting point? If you had someone that was in that place of anything from the negative self-talk that, we're waiting for it to change in order to honor ourselves. Well, when I, what would you say to someone that came to you and really wasn't in that place of mindfulness? How do you tell them to get started? What do you suggest?
Great question. Well, one thing that I want to articulate is that, this 50 trillion cells that I've mentioned a few times, like that is your life force energy. Like that's how powerful you are. And so putting on that lens, like, again, I'm not teaching anything you don't know already. It's just we've been trained to look at the world and our world, our physical world, our body with a certain kind of glasses. So just taking off those glasses and putting on the lens of that you're part of the natural world, and that you are made of energy, and that you are powerful. You are powerful to shape shift that. So I would say that is just as a thought and as an experience. I'm going to point to your breath. I'm going to point to your breath, which is highly underrated, and also like, oh, take a breath, take a breath, take a breath. So I'm going to make it even simpler, and I'm going to say exhale. I'm just going to say exhale. Just focus on your exhale. And I mean, there's so much more after that,
Mm.
but just as a place to start, just exhaling and inspiration, right? Inspire in spirit. Like every time we breathe, that's what's happening. And our choice to exhale, to let go of excess tension, to reduce stuck stress, to keep that flow going. We're not designed to take in and take in and take in and take on and take on, like, just back to that selfish self-care conversation. We have a flow. We have an in and an out, an inhale and an exhale. So that's
All about
the
honoring it.
places to come, honoring it. And lastly, to gain more tools and support. Like we need both. Like I know for myself, when I hit my own wall of like, okay, this isn't working well anymore, I need more tools and I need more support. So,
That's
as
what
you
you're
said
here
earlier, Gina, right? That's what I'm here
for. Go
for
to
in this arena.
soulisticgods.com and you'll have, and you have that opportunity to get that, which is wonderful.
Yes, I would love to
Absolutely.
support you. Any questions and anything at all? That's what I'm here for. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Lisa. I really appreciate it. I have a couple of announcements that I wanted to make. This is but it is a workshop that's this Saturday. So I invite you this Saturday, February 27th, and it's 11 to 3 on Zoom. You can reach out to me. It's Gina, Gina, at believeinouttoday.com for more information. I can send you that. And it's shifting from stressed to blessed, talking about self-care, talking about putting you first and how to do that, how to live that life that you choose as opposed to just going through it. And I would love to tell you about, we have Reverend Michelle is going to be doing this workshop. It's mind, 10% of your conscious mind. It's amazing when you think about that. If we could just consciously use 10% of our conscious mind. So she's talking about creating habits to transform your life. And she is amazing. She's offered herself for this. She's donating this. It is a fundraiser so that we can expand here on New Thought Media Network, Vimeo, our broadcasting capabilities. So it gives an opportunity for us. All of the money for this goes directly to the station to better itself, to present more things to you. So thank you for that. And I've taken workshops with Reverend Michelle, our very own Jersey girl, and absolutely wonderful. So for more information on that, you can see here, by all means, reach out. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be March 13th and March 20th, to just let you know it's coming up. And of course, Monday night is our Peace Circle, and we have the different topics every week. This coming Monday night, the topic is faith. So really being in that place of knowing and knowing that I know, because that's where the emotion behind it is how we create. So it's the Peace Circle coming up. There's so many things here at the network, and I invite you. I'm going to put a couple of more things up there, but I just want to bring Lisa in and say thank you. Thank you so much for this valuable topic, transforming your body mindset, because everything starts and ends in mind. We know that oneness, and it's important for us to honor that, in so many ways. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
And you're going to have to come back, and we will absolutely maybe have some practical examples next time, and some tools and practical examples to really allow people to be in that place of change. And what do those look like, and what might they feel like, and how do we go about it? So I am so grateful for all of you being here with us today. So grateful for all of you that are watching, whether it's live or and another time, remember that our platform is here for you to be able to, broaden that horizon and create the joy in the journey, as well as just living that conscious life. So if you've heard something today that honors you, something that uplifts you, I offer and I suggest, on the link that got you to us, there's a link to donate. If you're willing to could give anything at all, or wanted to sponsor, whatever works for you, we would love to be able to create even more for you. So whatever you give goes right to creating more of that change, more of that. So I am so grateful to you for being here today. And I look forward to creating the joy in the journey next week as well. And, just know who you are, be who you are, and honor that. And remember that it is supposed to be fun. Thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful day.